After several weeks playing 3 Check Wargreymon, I wanted to address some of the issues that it had. Sure, it had ways to cheat the Digivolution cost with BT17 Greymon, but single removal can only go so far, especially if your opponent's building wide. So the question, what is the strategy to evolve with the current meta? While protection in the form of Greymon X was so necessary, after much playtesting, the answer is abandoning it. You'll find a lot of choices I have for today's episode possibly strange, or from other players' perspectives, copium. But ultimately it's because of the lack of protection that makes it sometimes extra aggressive. And remember, if you enjoy these types of videos, do consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell for more future content. Right off the bat, originally I kept this deck with all red cards, minus the Omnimons and X Antibodies and Greymons, to utilize the offense training option cards to find not just my Digimon, but Tamers as well. But there was one major issue with this consistency, and that was the BT17 Greymon was white. Now after much playtesting, I dropped all the training options, and in my preliminary testing, float between a single red memory boost, or a 4th copy of a Tamer. Tamer-wise, I've also thrown out all the red Tai Kamiyas in favor of black ones. While true, your BT14 Tai can give you the extra memory when you check a security, the importance here is to preemptively gain your memory before you even have to attack. With Blast Digivolution and not just level 5 and level 6, level 7s are even more punishing. But with the upcoming Special Booster 2.0 release with BT18 and some of BT19, I found one particular card that might be making its return into a main Greymon deck. And the answer is Hades Force. Hades Force is a 7-cost option card that when you would use this card, if you have a Digimon with the X Antibody in the Digivolution sources, you can reduce the play cost by 2. Its main effect allows you to choose any number of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers, whose combined play costs are less than or equal to the play cost of one of your Digimon with Greymon in its name, and delete all of the chosen cards. Then one of your Digimon may attack a player. Its security effect simply deletes one of your opponent's Digimon with the highest play cost. So again, with X Antibody you reduce the play cost by 2, and make it cost 5. But the best part about this option card is that because of the cheapness of Ace Digimon, even level 7s can be instantly nuked with a level 6 Digimon in play, and the overflow costs will typically refund your 5. Tack on the fact that you can target the untouchable resources of Tamers, and it's hunting season for Greymon players. Next up on the cards to discuss for this deck profile is going to go to BT14 skullgreymon. As much as I initially disliked this card is actually a great follow-up play in combination with your BT14 agumon and BT17 Greymon play. Before going into this discussion, this skullgreymon bypasses the color requirements and can digivolve from any level 4 Digimon with Greymon in its name. And here's why this card is so busted. If you have a BT14 agumon promoting up from the Rays, and a memory fixer Tai Kamiya, you now have the ability to digivolve into a BT17 Greymon for free. Because there's a koromon in the sources, your Greymon goes from 5000 DP to 8000 DP till the end of the turn. Added with the inherited plus 2000 DP from Agumon can delete a lot of Digimon out there minus level 6s. However, if you got the 1 or 2 copies of BT12 Tai Kamiya in play, congratulations, you now have the DP threshold to hit level 6s as well. Now that you've cleared up what is typically the level 5 problem, you can attack and chip 1 damage. Whether your Digimon is deleted by battle or card effect, you do not care, because with this particular version of the deck, you run more 3s that you could hatch the egg, or build around another Greymon stack in the coming turns. But assuming your Digimon survives, that BT14 skullgreymon can be the next level of control territory. You see, by digivolving that BT17 Greymon into skullgreymon, you can now trash 1 card in your hand, any card I might add, to delete the lowest play cost level Digimon on your side, and the lowest level Digimon on their side. Which means you have quite a few triggers that can happen here. First, you've got skullgreymon's on deletion effect that plays an agumon from your trash without paying cost. If you have Tai Kamiya in play, that Digimon gains rush. Which means if you pitched one of your searcher agumons, whether it be BT5 or BT12, you can now glean the top 3 or 4 cards for more pieces. But before you even consider playing that agumon, you've also got one additional choice to make. With BT17 Greymon's inheritable, on deletion, you may play 1 Tamer card with Tai Kamiya or Kari Kamiya in its name from your hand, without paying the cost or hatch in your breeding area. Which means in a crazy turn of events, if you manage to knock your opponent down to 0 security, they have no Digimon in play, and you don't have a Tai Kamiya in play, you could use this Greymon's effect in order to play a Tai Kamiya first, instead of hatching an egg. Then with Skullgreymon's effect, play an Agumon from the trash in order to search and simultaneously gain Rush to finish the game. Why climb to Omnimon when you can clear the board first before rushing them down? Of course, your conventional plays offers a few other fun tricks. With the deletion of most of their Digimon, it now comes down to your opponent having a Digimon with 10,000 DP that will sometimes be on board. And with BT14 Wargreymon, this is the final piece that allows you to raid into their level 6 Digimon, and with that starter deck Tai Kamiya, draw a card and get some additional buffs. Mother Shoto, no problem. Because this deck pivots from the original 3-check build, of course you're still going to run the BT17 Wargreymon and use its inheritable in combination with Omnimon, or even Omnimon X to trash not 1, but 2 security. With these discussion points cemented in your mind, what does the overall deck profile look like? Let's dive right into this deck profile. For this deck, I strongly recommend the 5 eggs. How you choose to prioritize them is up to you. I've been digging the draw power and ability to dig deeper into the deck, so it's been 4 BT5 Koromon for the draw 1 as long as the Digimon has Greymon or Omnimon in its name, and the plus 1000 DP buff from BT9. No other substitutions because you do want to base the eggs in red at least, and they need to be Koromon. For Agumons, you've got the mandatory 4-ups for BT14, and BT12 for the free Evo from Raise with Tai Kamiya out, and performing the shenanigans of potentially deleting Digimon with not just 10,000 DP, but 11,000 or even 12,000 DP if you have multiple BT12 Tai Kamiyas out. The BT12 Agumon is the beast of the searcher that is mentioned before, and the combo can do some ridiculous digging and set up for the next turn. But with the last 6 slots, yes, I run 14 rookies in this deck, you run 2 from BT17 for recycling your Greymons and Omnimons from the trash, 2 from BT5 for the dual searching of Omnimon and Greymon Digimon, and the Agumon X antibody for the search of Greymon or Omnimon Digimon and the X antibody itself. Though one variant I playtested did not utilize this, and instead ran 2 promo Agumons which gave another static plus 2000 DP buff at all times. I found both to be hilariously working, and each has their own value with searching or maintaining the name of Agumon. With Skullgreymon, because it can only play specifically Agumon, this is where Agumon X can be problematic. Greymon wise, I have omitted all BT9 Greymon X's in favor of the old Greymons from BT5. Because with 2 BT12 Tai Kamiyas and promoting BT14 Agumon up, you can potentially set up enough memory for a level 6 play in one turn. 2 copies of BT12 Greymon for playing Tai Kamiya if you do not have one in play, 4 BT17 Greymons for nuking bodies and hatching another egg or even just playing a Tamer, and of course the 1 copy of Greymon X from BT11. By removing the Greymon X's, this removed a crutch that I felt like Greymon was having for a long time. And it also makes sense considering the Greymon X's will only ever work if you use them with Greymon with only 2 Agumon X's in the deck. Statistically, it just has less of a chance of happening. So to the level 5s, it's 4 copies of Raid metalgreymon and 3 copies of skullgreymon. Metalgreymon being a staple for that inheritable piercing and the ability to play a Tamer whether you raid with it or block with it. Skullgreymon has become my new favorite Greymon in the deck, but because of this Digimon, this changes up your level 6s extensively. First, all of your Wargreymons are red, but because they both have the special Digivolution conditions from a level 5 Digimon with Greymon in its name, it makes the Digivolution much more flexible. Between removal for most level 5 Digimon and even Warp Digivolution and raid ability with the other, this deck got a lot more fun. Because BT12 Greymon was a staple for the longest time, this Digimon can only Digivolve from a level 5 Digimon with metalgreymon in their name, which is why this deck is where it's at today. The BT17 Wargreymon in particular can drive opponents crazy as you're trashing security with its inheritable, and with Omnimon's protection, gives it some flexibility with bounce and deletion. With Omnimons, it's the same lineup of 2 Blitz Omnimons and the 1 copy of the X antibody variant from BT10. Obviously, there aren't any other major changes with this. Which leads me to the option cards, 2 copies of Hades Force for the hilarious removal of Ace Digimon, and Tamers in the current and upcoming format. 1 red memory boost for searching for a red Digimon, and 2 X antibody for the when attacking combat tricks. The red memory boost is another flex spot in that it could be another BT12 Tai Kamiya. However, I'm still in debate on whether the red memory boost is necessary or not. And finally, the Tamers are now 2 copies of starter deck Tai Kamiya for the extra DP to get over Mother D Reaper and card draw. And of course the BT12 variants that give your Greymon Digimon blocker and plus 1000 DP at the start of the turn. In addition, this Tai Kamiya can also gain you a memory when your Digimon digivolves into a Greymon or Omnimon card. the best value of any Tai Kamiya, but I can't deny that the BT14 Tai Kamiya had its moments with a plus 2000 DP instead. Now, what counters your strategy in this deck? There are a multitude of factors in some playtesting that I did, in which Puppet Rush can just outspeed you. And sometimes if you're not careful, you'll walk into the Blast Digivolution that's a level 7. But the big thing of all, of course, comes down to Digimon Emperor. A lot of my testing showed that this deck has insane dig ability and draw power, which meant in some games I came close to decking out, or I did, and with it, 20 card size hands. But generally, again, Greymon isn't a deck that's easily solved, and this was something that after a lot of playtesting, it's time to leave the protection of Greymon X and metalgreymon X and try something new. What are your thoughts on this deck profile, and will you be trying it out? Let me know your thoughts on this, and I'll catch you on more Digimon goodness this week. This DIGI-PANDA, logging out.